Welcome to the Crypto Campfire.
More exciting than the extra fries at the bottom of your bag, Mitch and the Professor. Featuring special guest, Evan Francis and Dorian Kirsch.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with Evan Francis and Dorian Kirsch. They're the co-founders of Coygo Inc. But before we start talking to them, let's take a look at the crypto news from the Crypto Gent.
Thanks, Professor. Hello, Crypto Campfire listeners, and welcome to the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. Bitcoin price is on the verge of breaking 7-month downtrend. Japan crypto exchanges face imminent margin trading limits, and Bitcoin can gain 100% in 2020 halving, says Fundstrat. That's the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent, and it's back to you, Professor.
Thanks a lot, Crypto Gent. So, Mitch, how's your day going?
Man, it was pretty decent. I'll tell you, this vertigo is kicking my butt. But, besides that, not too shabby. I can't complain. I got some stuff done, installing a kitchen today, so finish that up tomorrow. And, yeah, good times trying to catch up on Twitter. All that.
Been a busy day all around, for sure. Just going 100, which is, I guess it's a good thing. I can't complain. We actually got the chance to meet Evan and Dorian in Los Angeles at the Crypto Invest Summit. They told us a little bit about Coygo. We didn't have a chance to talk real deep. We didn't have a whole lot of time, but I'm actually kind of interested in learning more about the platform because it sounds like a really interesting way of kind of like accessing all your exchange accounts and everything from one spot and doing some trading. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to tie into a lot of what we're about to be talking about over the next few podcasts. We've got a lot about the investment side coming up here soon. So I'm kind of excited to get into it.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Dorian, Evan, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Doing awesome. Thanks.
Hey, man. It's good to talk to you guys again. So before we get started on the Coygo stuff, how did you guys discover crypto and what got you hooked?
Yeah. So I think both of us were lucky enough to get into it pretty early. I heard about it in early 2010. So it was only a couple months after the original Bitcoin white paper had been released. I was in school at the time, and I had a classmate who was in cryptography, but he was giving a pitch to a finance class, and he wanted to give a pitch about Bitcoin, and he was totally geeking out about it. And he was like, can I practice my pitch with you guys before I go to class? I said, sure. So this guy comes over to my living room and gives us this whole pitch, and just totally blew our mind on the whole social impact of this concept of a currency without any government backing. And so I was just hooked, I think, more on both the technical aspect and the sort of libertarian aspect of it. And then I was living in an apartment in college at the time that had, you didn't have to pay for power, it was included in the bill. So I started mining on my GPU and my desktop, and just getting a couple of Bitcoins every few days. And they were worth nothing, but I just thought it was cool. And then ever since then, I just kind of never stopped. I always kept keeping up on the news and watching the prices and everything. I traded a little bit every here and there. And then during the huge bull run of 2017, I was trading a lot because you could turn $10 to $100 with no skill. And then then Dorian and I decided to found a company in the space a few years ago now. So we just kind of got hooked and never left.
That's awesome. It's definitely one of those things that once you figure out what it is and how deep it goes, beyond just what Bitcoin is at face value, you're stuck.
Yeah, I actually had a pretty similar story too. Evan and I went to different colleges, but we were both in computer science majors. And so just people were geeking out about it 2009, 2010. I didn't end up, I wasn't as fortunate as Evan to go mine Bitcoins, but I remember I used to work at the ResNet in college, and someone came up, they're like, hey, can you help me build a machine? And I was like, oh, sure. Yeah. And what for? And they're like, we're going to mine Bitcoin. And I was like, cool. I was like, you guys go do that. And so I ended up building this machine, and I really hope they never sold because they were also in the same boat of free electricity. And, kind of, as Evan mentioned, we we followed the news pretty frequently over the years, but being a college student, you didn't really have a lot of money. So it wasn't like I can go and buy a bunch of Bitcoin back in the day. And so 2017, 2016 was kind of like when we really started to look into it and chat about it at work. And then, we finally pulled the trigger to kind of get into the space.
Mm-hmm. I totally did sell the stuff that I mined, and I absolutely regret it. I think I mined it when it was worth a couple dollars or $1, and then it hit like $50 or something. And, that was like it was like 1,000 X return. So I was like, how could I not, like for the amount of money that went into like my power, which is nothing. And then I was buying a little on the side. But, hindsight's 2020. Nobody knew it was going anywhere back then. It was just like magic internet money for fun.
That's just it. Who knew it would come to this,
Yeah, nobody knew. It was this like stupid little thing that was really only used for buying illegal drugs online, to be honest.
Right. I mean, I kick myself all the time because I first heard about Bitcoin in late 2009 or like very early 2010 before I moved out of the town I was in there. And I didn't actually get into it then. That was just when I first heard of it. There was some dude on Craigslist trying to trade shit for Bitcoin.
Yep.
I looked it up. Whatever I found was not appealing to me at the time. I probably looked at the wrong forum post or something, and because I'm a programmer too. So that was like, it was something that, knowing what I do now, I don't know how I wasn't interested in it. So I'm assuming I just found the wrong material or something. And whatever, I didn't get hooked at that time. I finally got into it, and I've actually been telling the story wrong. I thought it was 2016, but I looked back the other day and the emails from Craigslist were 2015, like the end of 2015. And at that point was when I got a little Butterfly Labs Bitcoin miner on trade.
Nice.
And started mining a little bit of Bitcoin. Like at its peak, the amount that I mined was worth like $15 or something, like when it was 20 grand per Bitcoin. So it was like not very much, but that was when I got hooked on it. But that was kind of the same thing where like I was in college at that time too. So you didn't have the money to like throw at it and go in. And I was really excited. And I actually never ended up I tried to trade some stuff for Bitcoin and I was never successful. I had some offers and then I never made the deals. And so I ended up with like no Bitcoin until 2017 when I really finally actually found out that there was more than Bitcoin and what altcoins were, and started looking into the tech side of it and getting really excited. But like you say, I kick myself all the time, but had I got 1 million Bitcoins at 1 penny, I'd have been so fucking excited at 2 pennies that I just sold it. So
yeah, exactly.
What do you do?
Like almost nobody held all the way from back then. There were so many peaks and crashes. Like you'd be crazy to not sell at some point.
Right, seriously. And if you did, like you're some monster of some sort, or you forgot that you had it.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much like you had to be in tech because like the only wallet that really survived that long was the Bitcoin Core wallet.
Yeah. Oh,
like every other wallet that was like online, they went bankrupt, out of business, like didn't give you your money. So like you pretty much had to be like, you couldn't have just been like, I had this consumer wallet for, since 2010. It would have been impossible.
Yeah. It was like using the internet in the 80s, right? Like the user experience was just god awful.
I got in 2018, so I have a hard time, following, not so much following, but a hard time kind of getting what you guys have gone through, because I have no idea what it was like, you know what I mean, to even mine anything, let alone, look back and say, damn, I wish I would have, and one of the main reasons I got into crypto was because I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to get into retirement and all of a sudden I see, this thing that was around and is worth astronomical money. And I was not that guy that got into it. I didn't want to be that,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of brought me in. The financial future brought me in, and the tech and the community and the movement's what's kept me in, for sure.
Community is a big one. That's so huge in the crypto space. And we always talk about it, but just all the people that have come together from so many different backgrounds and become this like one massive community that has sort of this common goal. And even though there's the little cliques all within that hate each other because they don't like XRP or whatever, there's still this big sense of community, of group accomplishment. I don't know. There's just like this massive movement, and there's not a lot of that really happening in this world anymore. We're getting more connected, but like we're more separated.
like when we met at CIS in LA at that conference, I think that's like a perfect representation of that, right? Like you walk around, there's total executives in suits who are there to make a bunch of money off the fintech movement. And there's total libertarian hippies who are there because they want money that the government can't grab, right? And there's like just absolute engineer nerds who are just there to geek out about blockchain tech and decentralized ledgers. So like it is interesting how it just like everyone, there's no like border to who you are, as long as like there's so many different aspects to be interested in.
And we could take one person from every one of those groups you just mentioned and bring them all together with the four of us here on the podcast, and we'd all have the best time of our life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what we actually have in common. It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to start leaning onto the tech side here. So Coygo, I'll let you guys give kind of a quick rundown of how it works, but I'm curious to know, like, what is your vision for this as a whole? Like, are you wanting something that ends up being kind of like an automated trading bot, or are you just trying to provide a tool that allows people to manually execute trades, but with the most amount of power across all of their exchange accounts?
Yeah, so right now we're not looking into automation, like creating bots and stuff. So our current goal is to provide really an all-in-one suite of tools for if you're a day trader or a trader is placing at least a couple trades a week manually. We want to provide all of the tools you need for your day-to-day workflow, whether it's tracking your portfolio, viewing real-time data and insights from that data, submitting trades, transferring between accounts, anything that you need to do. We want to provide one secure and nice user experience app to do that across all of your different exchanges.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm trying to. So it's basically going to be similar to a Blockfolio, but with the difference that you can trade on it.
Yeah.
Does that about sum it up?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like it'll track your portfolio. It'll let you submit trades to all your different exchanges. It's also got a heavy emphasis on real-time data. So like arbitrage scanning for arbitrage spreads and like, a bunch of different ways to visualize and play with and gain insights from data, like order book data from exchanges and ticker data and trade data and stuff like that to help you make more informed decisions while you're trading.
That's pretty cool. So you guys opened this to the public last month?
Yeah. So we've been in an open beta now for a few weeks.
Okay, cool. Are either of you considering going to Anarchapulco at all? Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I guess Anarchapulco is this really big event that happens in Acapulco, and there's just a wide array of speakers. They got like 120 or 150 speakers on like 5 different stages. It's spread out. It goes for 10 days. And there's different segments of it. There's like a health and wellness segment of it. There's, different types of like financials involved with it as well, like gold, silver, stuff like that. And, obviously cryptocurrencies too. But it's supposed to be a pretty big deal. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is like their 3rd or 4th annual. I could be off. It could be more than that. I don't think it's less than that, but it could be more. But anyways, yeah. So we're media partnering with them. So we're going to start kind of promoting it a little bit with the show and on our website. And if you guys are interested or look into it and think about going, we'll have a link, an affiliate link that you could actually purchase tickets for it through us, and maybe even get a discount that way. So kind of keep your eye open for that. But it's in February every year, I think. And it's a pretty big deal. I think there's like 3,000 people that go to this thing. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of it. We'll take a look. Dorian just pulled up his computer, so we'll take a look at that later.
Good deal. But so the Coygo thing, now you guys got into this, you made it public about a month ago, so people can actually start using it. How have you noticed your user base going, and what kind of feedback are you getting?
Every day we've had people signing up and registering using the app. There are people in there right now using it. So far it's been pretty good. We're pretty happy with it. We're still, the more data we can get, the better. So we're still trying as much as we can to just get everyone in there. Right now the app's totally free. We're not charging anything. We just want people in there and giving us feedback, So in general, the feedback has been fairly positive, and the uptake and people signing up every day has been good. But
it's kind of been also a fun journey there on neither Evan and I are marketers.
Yeah.
And so learning like the SEO game, like how to find organic traffic, like
Right.
Just because we have computer science backgrounds doesn't mean we're experts at, use Google, right?
Yeah.
And the ability to get you.
Yeah, that's been definitely interesting. Being a startup, we have to wear every hat,
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we understand that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're finally
Yeah.
figuring out the marketing funnel and how to funnel people into our app. Like our problem is when people use it, they like it. We just need to get the word out about it,
Right. Well, this show, this podcast, I mean, we have a pretty decent amount of reach, but the people that we do reach, they reach a lot more too. So this should actually help get some word out for you guys. And I'm all about looking into it myself, and I'm sure the professor is as well.
Seriously, because like I haven't placed a trade in
Oh,
I don't even know how long, dude.
Me either.
I think the last time I traded anything was literally when I was taking my shit out of Binance in September.
Yeah.
Does that even count, right? So I mean that's positive because I haven't lost any money, I guess. But
buying isn't considered trading, though, is it? It's just stacking.
Anyway,
Okay, so-
according to the fucking IRS, it is. But let's not go there.
Whatever. Don't even start on that.
The beauty of it too is like you don't even need to like give API keys or anything to use it, right? Like if you just want to use it to like get insights on how the market's looking, like free to use, you download it and you're good to go.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to be trading to use the app. That's been like a lot of the feedback we've gotten is like the way you can connect all of your personal exchange accounts to our app. But a lot of people just aren't comfortable giving their API keys to a third-party app, and we totally respect that.
Right.
So we put a big effort into making sure that even if you don't want to add any API keys, you can still get a lot of benefits from using our app with all the real-time data and insights and data tools around that.
So I got a serious question for you guys.
Okay.
You got Miss Cleo there with you or some shit right now? Because like I was literally just going to ask you what features could be used without API keys. So.
No.
I appreciate that. Thanks for answering my question.
I do want to mention, so kind of one of our big differentiators of our product versus our competitors is the API keys. So, how you connect your exchange is you log into Binance, you create an API key, and then you give it to the Coygo app. So Coygo is a downloadable desktop application. So when you enter your API keys, they're only stored encrypted on your hard drive. So your API keys are never sent to our servers. So our Coygo never has access to your, as a company, we never have access to your accounts. We never have access to your funds. So all the trades are submitted right from your device, your machine. All your API keys are stored in your machine. So we, like I said, I don't think you should ever give your API keys to a third-party servers. That's like giving another company your, bank account pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you might as well give them your private keys, right? So
yeah, that's crazy. Right? So that's like a big thing with us is even if you do want to connect to your accounts, they're only encrypted on your hard drives. Our servers never have access to your exchange accounts.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sick. Now, are you guys self-funded?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Kudos.
Yeah, thank you. That's been like people are very surprised by that. We've been trying to go as far as we can without seeking funding.
It's not something you hear of a lot in the space. I mean, especially when all the ICOs and everything else took place, and with sponsorships and stuff like that. So it tends to be surprising that people, pull stuff off that is successful and that is unique and that is amazing, self-fundedly and doing it, by themselves. And, it means a lot when you guys do that. And when people do that in that fashion, it just really does. It just means your heart's in it 100% and you're not just doing it for the money.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely could have went the ICO route back in the day in 2017 when it was at its peak. And like, we just didn't want to do that. We're also not lawyers either. So like, we just had to avoid the space.
Especially being US based. I mean, it's so hard to do anything like that right now.
Yeah, we pride ourselves in being US based and completely legally compliant. There's a lot of sketchy stuff out there in the crypto industry, and we don't want to be part of that. There was a time when you could release any token for an ICO and you'd raise $10 million, like regardless of what it was. It was stupid. It was this crazy ICO craze.
Yep.
And like we really talked about it. I was like, okay, how maybe we could raise funds through an ICO, but we just couldn't figure out a way to make a token that actually had a utility and benefited our users. And we didn't want to do an ICO just to raise money. That's stupid. And it's a legal nightmare right now. I mean, we've been seeing tokens delisted left and right, exchanges getting kicked out of the US. We just don't want any part of that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a mess, man.
You know, being that you guys are self-funded too, I wanted to squeak this in there while we were still talking about that. Being that you guys are self-funded, you know, we might even be able to get you worked out on the Change Angels website, because they're all about supporting self-funded crypto projects.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, and they're another exchange that you might want to integrate into your service anyway. So they're
Right.
Speaking of Change Angel, have you guys seen the seed card movement? I don't know if we showed you those. We had them in California, but I can't remember if we talked about them.
I don't think so.
So it's kind of just a real simple sort of thing to get the word out in a non-digital form. It kind of started as an accident actually, but it's just little like business card size seed cards, we call them, with like QR codes to bitcoin.org or litecoin.org or whatever. And then just a little bit of information on them. You leave them somewhere and you take a picture of where you left it and you tweet that out, and then you put it on the map on the Change Angel website. And it was like the first week it went all the way from the west coast of the US to Australia and everywhere in between. And it was worldwide. It was kind of cool to see.
That is cool.
We'll have to send you a link to the website, the map, and you can check it out. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I like to go out, and we put them at Roscoe's Chicken in LA and all kinds of places, and stick them on their sign and take a picture of it and tweet it.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of fun, you know, kind of spreads the word.
It's really unique, and it's kind of cool to sit there and look at the entire world map and see all of these markers that have been put out, you know, all of these seed cards. And it's really cool when you start looking at how big the echo chamber really is, or how let me rephrase that, how spread out the echo chamber really is.
Yeah, I'm also sorry. I'm also like Googling everything you say at the same time. So
yeah, I do that too. So a lot of times I'll get distracted and I'll be sitting here silent and everybody else is waiting for me to talk. And I'm like, I'm just Googling something.
Yeah, I want to know if they're in San Diego. I'm sure there are. There's a huge crypto movement here in San Diego, actually.
Probably. Yeah, check it out and see. So, sometimes I like to go, if I'm somewhere where there's a seed card on the map, I like to go see if it's still there. Every once in a while you find one, you're like, it's still there.
Right.
So Dorian, you work for Atlassian, right?
No, I don't work for them.
He just wears Atlassian swag all the time.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Atlassian work for like 6 years. So that's kind of what paid the bills a lot of the time.
Gotcha.
I got into it at Intuit, where I met Evan, and now I geek out about it all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. I was just wondering because I literally just started, Mitch, you know, for Cerebro, I just set up Jira and Confluence. We're using that for the project management stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So we just set that up, and at my work, I'm an IT manager, and we've been using that for project management for quite a while. So it was just kind of happened to notice that. I was like, hey, nice.
Yeah, if you ever need help or want to talk about it, I got you, man.
That's awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah, so like Dorian mentioned, we met at Intuit. So we met working on the TurboTax product. That's what they build here in the San Diego office. And I don't know if it's still true, but at the time, Intuit had one of the largest, if not the largest Jira instance in the entire world.
Really?
Because they had, like hundreds of teams and millions of issues and stuff. It was crazy. We would Intuit would constantly bring down Jira and break it because we just had so many employees and so many people using it. So we're very familiar with it.
So that's how you guys met then, you said?
Yeah. Yep. We were both working there 4.5 years ago.
Nice. So how'd the Jira and Intuit thing go? Was that part of you guys together, or were you both at Intuit at the time and had no part in that partnership?
We actually ended up, so the reason where we got became close friends is we worked on a development productivity tools team, where we pretty much try to make developers more efficient by a suite of tools. And so I was focused on the Jira side of those things because developers normally hate project management tools. So we were trying to build solutions to make stuff like that easier. And Evan did a bunch of other stuff on that.
Yeah, he was our Scrum Master, and then I was just all over the place, general full stack engineer doing a bunch of stuff.
I can see the developers not liking project management tools. It's I don't know if it's just me, but it's every time I try to use one, there's so many different possible ways that you could do it.
Yeah.
That there's always that one little thing you're like, well, I would have done that this way.
Yeah, we got in a really sweet setup that you pretty much as an engineer just needed to know the Jira ID you're working on, and then everything you did from your commits, your branches, your deploys, like it would just update the tool. That was kind of like the grand vision that we got pretty close to.
Yeah, we almost automated the entire Jira workflow. So like engineers wouldn't actually have to open Jira, but it would all be tracked automatically.
That's awesome.
So let me ask you guys this. What sport would be most improved by adding a minimum blood alcohol content level?
All right, let me really think about that.
Dude, I can imagine a disaster of hockey. I'm not going to say hockey, but like just trying to see
that would be a wreck,
is
right?
like rough.
You know, so I think I agree with the skating. At first I wanted to say like a contact sport, but I'm thinking I feel like figure skating could be so much funnier if people were trying. Something that requires like really delicate precision could just be destroyed by it.
I was thinking like trapeze artists, you know, the ones that catch each other and stuff like that.
There's I don't know what the name of the sport is, but there's this like sport. I was watching some random like sports that should be in the Olympics kind of video on YouTube, and there's one where it's like you have a team that of just like people standing around a pole, and then you have one person on top of the pole, and we're talking like 50 people. And another team of 50 people run at them and try to take the guy down that's on top of the pole. And so they're jumping and they're climbing over people. And it's like, it's not like you can scratch or hurt someone. It's just, you got to try your best to try to pull down this guy from the pole. If they were drunk, I can totally see that being a shit show.
That sounds like total mayhem.
What about motorsports? Is that allowed? Because like, what about like motocross, right?
If someone get hurt.
Or like rally cross?
That's a good one.
You know, curling would be funnier than shit.
Yeah,
because you just see them drunk asses getting so serious, getting down there with the getting really close, and you get those close ups on their face.
Let's go, that thing, and falls over.
He's not even holding it; he's just going down the ice with nothing in his hand. Just knows he's kicking ass.
Oh, that would be
guys
awesome.
are sweeping backwards, you know, good times.
Or baseball, you fucker never hit a ball.
Evan, you're a slalom skier?
Yeah, so I ski raced my entire childhood through college. So if anyone listening knows what the divisions of skiing, actually, I don't know if it's still true anymore. I started as a J6 back in the day, through J5, through J1. And then I did an intramural team at college because I didn't have a full D3 team or anything. So yeah, I skied raced like my whole life. Slalom was my specialty, but I did a lot of downhill and Super G2. And skiing is like a huge part of my life. I try to ski as much as I can. We live in California near Lake Tahoe, so I usually try to go to Tahoe as much as I can. It's like the most beautiful place in the world. I have a tattoo of a pair of skis on my chest. Yeah.
Oh, dedicated.
I love skiing.
Dorian, so you're a diehard snowboarder then, I'm guessing.
I would be the snowboarder, definitely. I learned, I went with Evan, his girlfriend, and his brother to Lake Tahoe once to go skiing. And it was like my first time skiing. They got so much snow. I could not ski to save my life.
Yeah, it was like 4 feet of powder.
Yeah, it was rough.
So it sounds like we need to schedule a snowboarding / slalom skiing crypto conference event with a minimum blood alcohol
I will
content.
host that shit. I am so down.
At the bottom of the freaking hill with hot chocolate laced with Kahlua and shit, you know, passing out drinks.
Sitting there on Coygo just drinking hot
Yeah,
chocolate.
right.
I can see it right now.
Right
That's
by the
awesome.
fire. There's Mitch.
I mean, sometimes you got to do it the easy way, right?
I'd sit on a snowboard and go down the hill, maybe.
Yeah, just do some sledding, man.
Yeah, sledding's
There we
great.
go. Sledding's like 10 times better.
Yeah, the only problem with sledding is there's no brakes. So you'll actually go faster than all of us.
Yeah.
Is that a problem though, or is that just the best part? Because if you go out sledding, I mean, how awesome is that?
No, the problem is the trees at the bottom of the hill.
Really painful.
Yeah, really bad.
Okay, yeah. But your legacy is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Suicide by bobsled.
Where'd you get a bobsled? I want a fucking bobsled.
Hey, you said sledding. I don't know. It's sledding.
Well, I mean, there's the other side. We went out to the local sled hill. My kids wanted to go sledding, and our sleds were still in Billings, so we forgot them down there. And we're like, well, we got a bunch of cardboard, and so we went and bought like $30 worth of duct tape and let them make their own shit. And my oldest just took a box and lifted the flaps up and taped them like that and tried to go down the hill like that just to see how it worked. It didn't work, as you'd expect. Then he discovered that if you just kick down one of the walls and turn it into like a fucking recliner, It's amazing. Like, that's all you need is a recliner box. You're set.
Hell yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So Craigslist is finally releasing an app. Is it too late?
Wow. I use Craigslist all the time. Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of competitors now, like OfferUp and like.
But none of them are as good as Craigslist.
Yeah, like I still like if I'm looking for housing or like renting a new place, I still go to Craigslist.
Yeah, my last 2 roommates I met on Craigslist, both great.
Yeah.
I sell stuff on Craigslist all the time.
It's like the go-to, isn't it?
I don't know what it is. Up here in Montana, it's like everybody forgot about it, and it drives me fucking crazy. Everybody wants to use Facebook Marketplace, and it's like, what the hell? Who the hell uses Facebook Marketplace?
Dude, so many people. It's weird. Facebook Marketplace is huge.
It is. I was a reseller / fix lawnmowers / build motorcycles / whatever I could to make a few dollars during college. And I spent a lot of time buying and selling shit on Craigslist. And, just like with anything, Facebook ruined it. At least up here, everybody forgot about it. I can't sell shit on Craigslist to save my life. Of course, I haven't been trying recently, but I don't know.
The only thing, like, I do like Reddit sometimes now, is it's like a hidden gem to find cheap stuff or free stuff.
Yeah.
You like can just post on like your neighborhood subreddit and like people will just give it to you for free.
Totally.
I got
That's
a free
amazing.
weight. Like, so now Evan and I both like work at home and I just got a free gym. I just posted on like San Diego subreddit and was like, I'm trying to get swole. Like, does anyone have some free equipment? And I got a bench and a bar.
Yeah.
What? No shit.
Yeah. It was like, that's like $150 saved.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing about Craigslist. Like, there's so much free shit.
That's true.
Right. I love free ads. I'm still a sucker for free ads, and I will always be. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I'm also a sucker for giving shit away because the only thing that I've never had not be picked up from the free ads is 5 or 6 gallons Arizona tea jugs full of 20-year-old rotten gas out of a 68 Ford. Nobody came and picked that up, but everything else I put on the curb has disappeared.
That's so awesome.
You guys ever posted like a huge pile of free stuff like too late in the day and then been able to watch people out your window come pick through it because they're fucking crazy?
No.
That sounds awesome though. I'm pretty sure you can make a TV show of like just Craigslist free and like see who comes and picks up your stuff.
Like store
Oh my God.
for
Like
Craigslist.
store doors for Craigslist.
We should start a YouTube series for this because it would be amazing. The people that I've seen, like they'll come and they'll look at stuff, and I've seen people like put it in their car and then take it back out of their car and put it in, and like they walk around, they look around to see what else is free that they can steal. It's like
You can do some stats too, right? Like get demographic data, like how quickly they did it. Like your like your ads can be for like people at Walmart, right? And so it's just like and you can combine a lot of things.
That's amazing. I think there's a new YouTube channel in the works.
Yes.
Are you guys on Twitter a lot?
Not personally. As a company, yes.
Okay, but not personally. You don't spend a lot of time on Twitter. I mean, obviously you're busier than shit with everything else, and probably don't have time for it.
Yeah.
So for example, like we just monitor like other crypto things, the crypto space via Twitter, not like I don't follow like Donald Trump's tweets, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Now, I guess I was going to ask, the question I wanted to ask was influencer or crypto advocate? Which
is a better name?
Yeah, which would you prefer to see somebody called?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't love the whole influencer terminology. I mean, it's a huge market right now. But I think like so many people want to call themselves influencers when they have like 1,000 followers, and like charge $500 for a tweet, and it's just not worth that at all. So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant of influencers personally.
Yeah, the influencers we've talked to, we have not been fans of.
No,
they just want too much money, and it's like, dude, like you can't prove to us that you actually have that value that we're gonna get back from.
Yeah, I'm not convinced influencers is really like cost effective.
ROI.
Yeah, and now look at like not Twitter, but Instagram just removed the whole concept of likes, right? And so there's all these like influencers who make a bunch of money by selling the fact that they have so many likes. So that's like totally disrupting the whole influencer market. So I feel like companies are starting to push back on this whole idea because like Instagram wants you to pay for ads because then they take a cut. But if you're just paying an influencer to post something on their page, Instagram doesn't make any money. There's no middleman there. You're just paying the account.
It's funny how they find those creative ways to build in those loopholes so that they can keep that data to themselves.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of networks now are starting to get privy to that, and they want their cut of the money the influencers are getting paid.
Interesting. Advocate was the answer.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. That was mostly due to a good friend of ours, Ed Cat Life. She and a bunch of us that, hang out together all the time just didn't sit well with the fact of being called influencers. And we're like, the word sounds so, I don't know, it just sounds dirty, right? And if you think of what we're trying to do, like people like her and myself and the professor and the Crypto Campfire for that matter, but there again, it's my opinion, but just the word influencer, because we're not trying to influence anybody. We're just trying to give them information and let them make their own decisions at the end of the day.
Yeah, I probably have like an unpopular opinion of like influencers in that, like, if you're going to like in our space, like, day traders, they look at TradingView like all day. If they're just going to look at TradingView, like, could you look at it in our app? Like, and, we'll give you money if it like people end up using it. Like, it's just like, they want like all this money up front. And it's like, dude, like you're already using TradingView. You're already promoting them. Like, can you just use it in our app, which we provide for free?
And we'll pay you to do it.
And we'll pay you like if it like is worth it.
Right. Yeah. No, and you guys would have a better viewpoint of that than say somebody who wasn't in a position that you guys are in. So, but no, it was a good question. I'm glad I asked you guys.
And like with anything, I mean, the concept of influencer marketing has been just so pumped full of crap, over the past few years. Like anything, anytime something picks up, you start out with something that's really nice and really awesome, and then like actually kind of serves a purpose, and then it gets flooded by everybody else who sees an opportunity to come in and try to make $5.
Yeah, like who was it? Maybe it was DJ Khaled. There were a couple of celebrities who endorsed like ICOs like a couple years ago. Floyd Mayweather endorsed one. I want to say DJ Khaled did. There's all these celebrities now who got paid $10,000 to tweet about an ICO, and now they're all being brought to court because they never mentioned that it was like the FCC requires you have to say that you're being paid to say that, and they didn't.
Yep.
So like it's like just a total fiasco.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
I love it. I think it's hilarious because, I mean, some of the shit that they were promoting was like obvious scam bullshit, and everybody just goes with it because, that's like the true definition of an influencer. I mean, the term has a true meaning, and it's, people that are actually influencing people with what they say. And there's so much of that happening, and not just here, but like in the political side of things and everywhere else. People will just believe anybody and just take everything as fucking truth, and it's crazy. It blows my mind that these people, they just roll with it.
Yeah, I think Paris Hilton, I believe she was someone to promote an ICO at one point.
Would not surprise me, man.
Even if you're a fan of Paris Hilton, like, why are you taking her advice for investments?
Right? Seriously, you should know. You should at least have enough common sense to be like, no, never mind.
Well, like, I'm a big fan of a few actors and directors, but I'm not going to take their word for investing. Like, that's a weird correlation to make.
Right, exactly. Man, I don't know. That would be like turning to the network engineer for programming advice, right?
Exactly.
Says the network engineer programmer. But hey, it's okay. Nothing ever good comes from me talking to myself.
Really? I think that's bullshit. How many times a day do you guys answer yourselves? Come on, seriously.
A lot.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions, and if I don't get an answer back, I just solve it myself before someone gets the chance. So.
Oh shit! So, what's the most ridiculous fact that you guys know?
Wow.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
There's a building in Zimbabwe that the architect was asked to build a huge building. I don't know what it's called, without AC. And that is like crazy because like it gets really hot in Africa. And right. The person that was asking him also said that it had to be a certain temperature. It had to be like 72 degrees at all times without AC. and the architect decided to use the same technique that ants and termites use when termites build these huge structures in the desert and live out of these structures, and they have certain holes in through the structure that promote wind flow to get in so that they can stay cooler while in like the middle of the desert. So they totally built this building using architectural plans from termites.
So it's just like a giant termite.
Shit.
That's amazing.
No, it's like a normal building, but they used the architecture from that.
Weird.
That's pretty sick. Just watch out for the larva. Oh, Sid, that's pretty awesome. Professor, how about you?
Weirdest fact I know?
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, that's not a fact.
It is a fact.
That's an act.
Man, okay. Evan, you got one? I got to think about this for a while.
I don't know, man. I'm on the spot and I'm drawing a total blank.
Same here, man. I'm like, I know some crazy shit, but I can't think of it right now.
Okay, I got one. So I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know that the average dog can smell 30 feet below water?
What?
In water that's 30 feet deep?
I don't know if I believe that.
It's true. It might actually be deeper than that. And I think the ground, is 10 feet. 6 or 10 feet underground they can smell.
Weird.
Pretty insane. Google it. I hope I'm right. It's been 30 years since I went to dog training with my dogs. So I'm going off. I learned a crap ton about dogs when I did that. The guy was pretty amazing.
One last thing, coin flip. I'm curious if there's some way that like you could integrate with a coin ATM, a crypto ATM, so that the users could actually like deposit right into their account.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think about that?
So like a wallet QR, similar. So when they go to the ATM to buy like Bitcoin or Litecoin, they can automatically put it with that QR right into.
So I'm thinking a step further. Like, so the Coygo account has all your exchanges linked and all that stuff, right? So in theory, you could go to the ATM and you could withdraw, and you could have like a default account set in Coygo that it would pull out of, or you'd have the option of choosing, or like when you were depositing at the ATM, you could deposit right to your Coygo account, and then within Coygo, you'd have your setting of like your default, but you could choose it. I don't know.
Food for thought.
I have never once used a Bitcoin ATM, so I don't even know if that would work.
Oh, dude, you know what? For fast, easy, throw $100-$200 into the market, or even up to 900 without having to do any kind of like KYC. So, it's not like Coinbase, or it's not like any other, where you got a waiting period depending on what method you use to purchase it. But it's just instantaneous. It's quick. It's easy. And it's really, because of that, the fees, CoinFlip has the lowest fees in the industry. So I don't know. When I first used it, I was just like, oh God, the price spread. Oh God, the fees. But then I'm like, look at the convenience of it. I go and I put $200 in and I have crypto right now.
Yeah.
Bam.
Wait, so Evan, you said you haven't ever used a Bitcoin ATM?
Never.
And you guys are in San Diego, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere. I see them all the time.
There's a shitload.
Look up CoinFlip.
No interest in trying it?
No, I mean, there's one at the liquor store I go to all the time.
Nice.
I've been buying Bitcoin with ATMs for so long.
Yeah, I mean, when, especially because we're connected to all of these exchanges, and we're like in order to test, we had to like level 2 verify on like hundreds of exchanges.
Yeah.
Right, that's true. You better get your damn use out of that.
Yeah.
Good times.
I mean, maybe I should try. Just throw $10 at it. It would be cool just to know how it works. I feel like I've been in Bitcoin long enough. I should know how they work.
If you guys do reach out to us, we can get you a discount code on the fees, so we can knock a little bit off the fees for you, and
cool.
At a CoinFlip ATM. So, like I said, reach out to us if you're interested in throwing, $20 and $50, $10, whatever it is, just to kind of see how it acts. And, it might be something that you say, you know what, next time I run across a couple $100, I might do this again. So
yeah,
we need to have a Coinstar that just converts it to Bitcoin and sends it to your address.
It's outrageously expensive, though.
I know. It doesn't make any sense, but
It
whatever.
doesn't.
You might as well throw it in the fucking garbage anyway. So even if you get a few cents out of it afterwards, right?
Oh shit.
But guys, this was a fun one. Won't keep you too much longer. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you guys. I just want to mention, if somebody's trying to look up our company Coygo, our website is .app, not .com. So it's COYGO.app. Coygo.app.
Thank you. I forgot to have your URL, so thank you. I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Check it out, guys. I'm actually going to go set up an account tomorrow because I'm excited to get back in and play with trading a little bit. So I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to do it. Check it out.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you think. Like I said, it's free right now. Our feedback is our most valuable resource, so we'd love to hear what you.
Same here. Check out our merch store. See if there's any sweatshirts or sweaters or
selling the merch now.
Yeah, because it's so cold here in San Diego.
Might as well, right? I love it.
You got surfboards, you know.
Yeah, we don't exactly need sweaters here in San Diego.
Tank tops and all that shit too. So, all right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
All right,
later, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Well, shit, everybody drinks coffee. We could have sold them a coffee mug.
Man, that was a good time. It's kind of fun getting lost and getting off topic for a little while, and that's the benefit of a campfire, right?
Yeah, here I am. Whose turn is it? Who gives
Whose turn is it? I don't fucking care.
Just no question. Interrupt me. Fuck it. Who cares? I like those guys. I don't know. It just the more and more people we meet, this is just so amazing. I'm just loving it.
We met so many awesome people in California, though. I mean, the conversations we had in California were off the hook. Like it wasn't like those typical business conversations where, and there was a few of those. There's always going to be, but the majority of them were just like this. Like you ended up starting just telling stories and having a real conversation, and you forgot about crypto for a while. And it's kind of fun to meet somebody from a totally different background and end up just having a great conversation just because of crypto. It is, and I think it actually happened more in Los Angeles than it did in Vegas. It did. And of course, a lot of that is probably because we had so many of our friends around us in Vegas. Yeah. So we were spending a lot of time hanging out and talking to our friends and that we already knew and already had those moments with. And, and in LA, we didn't have any of our friends with us. And there was just only a couple people there that we had ever talked to before. So there was a lot of new people that we had those experiences with because the whole time there, we were just talking to people we had never spoken to before. We've got I think 12 people now booked up over the next 2 months that are from LA. So we've got so many people that's cool. Or maybe that was the total number. But anyway, I think 12 total people that we actually just talked to in LA that are coming on the show. So we're really excited about that. There's a lot more really awesome interviews coming your way, some really cool projects, and I think some really funny people, especially. So it's gonna be fun. Right on. All right, guys. So until next time, you guys have yourselves a great night. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy. Peace.